Hi everybody, welcome to another Potlucky video. My name is Adam Hayek and behind the camera happens to be my lovely wife Rachel. Say hello to the people, Rachel.
Hello.
And today we are going to show you how to make pecan sticky buns. Now, pecan sticky buns happen to be a favorite in this household, right?
They're decadent and messy and fantastic.
And they are easy to make. So we're going to show you step-by-step instructions. Dads, pay particular attention to this recipe. It's an easy thing to make the night before Mother's Day and then serve in the morning. It's going to be an amazing centerpiece to your brunch table, and we're going to show you all the things along the way to keep track of. Now, I've laid out all the ingredients for every single step, and we're going to start right here. These two ingredients constitute our tanzang. That's our flour paste that's going to moisturize the mixture. It consists of 2/3 of a cup of water and 1/4 cup of bread flour. That's also 1 1/3 ounces of flour by weight. Then we have our dough mixture. This consists of 2/3 of a cup of milk, 1 large egg plus 1 egg yolk. We also have 2 3/4 cups of bread flour, which by weight, that's 15 1/8 ounces. We have 2 teaspoons of instant or rapid rise yeast, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. We have 1.5 teaspoons of salt and 6 tablespoons of butter. Then our topping mixture that's going to go right into the pan before we bake it is going to be 6 tablespoons of butter that we're going to melt, 1/2 cup of brown sugar that is completely packed. It's also 3 1/2 ounces. We also have 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. That's 1 3/4 ounces by weight. We also are using dark corn syrup. Now, if you only have light corn syrup, feel free to use the light corn syrup, but the dark gives a really great color. This happens to be 1/4 cup of that mixture. We also have 2 tablespoons of water over here, and as well as 1 cup of pecans that have been chopped and toasted. Then we also have our filling mixture, which is 3/4 of a cup of packed dark brown sugar, which is about 5 1/4 ounces, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. First, we're going to mix our flour mixture into our water, and we're going to whisk until no lumps are present. We're going to microwave this mixture for 50 to 75 seconds, stirring every 25 seconds. Okay. And it has reached its pudding-like consistency. Add the flour paste to the bowl of a stand mixer and add your milk as well. Whisk the ingredients to combine. Add the egg and egg yolk and whisk to combine. We're going to add all of our flour and our yeast to the bowl. Get all of it in there. And then we're going to set it right into our mixer and add our dough attachment. We're then going to set this machine to low to mix for about a minute or a minute and a half until this entire thing comes together and the flour is all moistened. And stop. As you can see, the flour has completely hydrated. We're just going to let this sit for about 15 minutes and cool off, and then we're going to proceed with the rest of the recipe. Now that it's finished its rest, we're going to add our sugar and our salt to the mixture. And we're going to mix on medium-low for about 5 minutes to just make sure that the mixture kneads and comes together. As you can see, the dough has started to form a really great gluten structure, and we're going to now add our softened butter to the mix, and we're going to knead it for an additional 5 minutes. So now our dough has finally come together, and we're going to turn it out of this bowl and put it out onto the counter. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to lightly dust this counter with a little bit of flour to make sure that it doesn't stick. This is a really sticky dough. You're going to want to make sure that your surface happens to be really nice and floured to ensure that it's not sticking to your countertop. Just going to scrape all these lovely bits off of here. and pull it all out onto the counter. Now we're going to cover it with a little bit of more flour. I'm just going to roll it and knead it into a full cohesive dough. And as soon as we kind of get a nice seam together here, we're going to plop it right into this lightly oiled bowl. And we're going to let it rise for about 40 minutes to an hour until it's doubled in size. Just make sure to cover the bowl. While the dough is resting for that hour period, we're going to prepare our topping mixture. Now, I've got a metal pan right here.
Does it have to be a metal pan?
No, it doesn't necessarily need to be a metal pan, but I like a metal pan for this recipe.
Why is that?
Well, this particular metal pan has these nice straight sides, which help in the rising. A lot of glass pans have those curved sides,
right,
and they just don't make a really attractive end product. This conducts heat really well, and it also has these lovely sides. If you don't have a metal pan like this, you can use a disposable metal pan. That'll work just as well. All we're gonna do.
What about a glass pan?
A glass pan again would work
you
in a
can
pinch.
Use it?
Yeah, you can. It's just it's gonna be curved on the sides, and it's gonna be banged.
And what size?
13 by 9 pan, always. We're just going to lightly spray this to make sure that nothing sticks, and we're just going to set it off to the side. Now we're going to start with our sugar topping mixture. We're going to take our brown sugar and our white sugar, our dark corn syrup, which I'm just going to scrape off there. We want all of that goodness.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah. And we're going to do our butter mixture as well. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt in the mixture. Always with something this sweet, you're going to want some salt in the mix to make sure that it's balancing that sweetness. And we just want to whisk this until it becomes smooth and homogeneous. I'm beating a little bit of air into it, but that's not necessary. So now that this is completely smooth, I'm going to add these 2 tablespoons of water to the mix. And I'm going to very slowly start to stir to incorporate and build up speed as it's going. And now it is completely together. Now that we have this all together, we're just going to pour it right into the bottom of this pan. And I'm going to want to scrape out every last morsel that I can so that all this goodness gets where it's going. Now I'm going to slowly tilt the pan to make sure that the mixture gets into all corners. Level it out. And then we're going to add our pecans to the base.
So
Make
it's just
sure
going to cover the whole bottom.
Yeah, totally. And what we'll do is, after we have formed our rolls, we're going to place them on top. And then our rolls are going to rise in this overnight. And then in the morning after we bake them, we're going to overturn them, and this bottom will be this gorgeous, luscious top. Yeah, this is the top of the mixture, and it's going to do a big reveal in a couple of minutes for this video. But I can't wait to show you. Our dough is almost done rising, and we're going to mix our cinnamon and our brown sugar filling together so that we can spread it on as soon as it's done. So 1 hour has elapsed, and look at our dough. It has risen.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to put this out onto a lightly floured surface, and we're going to pat it out into a 18 by 15 rectangle.
Are you not going to use a rolling pin?
Nope, we can use our hands. This is not something that we're going to need any special equipment for, and it is a fairly easy dough to work with. Now we're just going to kind of knock it out and work from the center to make sure that we're able to get our dough into a nice, even rectangle. Okay, so we are right at 18 inches across and 15 across the back. So now we're going to take our filling mixture and we're going to spread it very evenly over the top. Now we want to make sure that we leave an inch at the edge because that'll help us seal.
Just the one edge?
Just the one edge, because we're going to end up sealing it. and we want to make sure that the dough is able to seal on itself. So if we put sugar there, it wouldn't be able to adhere
close?
to itself. Yeah.
Got
So,
it.
but we can do it all the way up to the other 3 edges, and that'll just end up making it that much more delicious. And really, some recipes will call for you to put like a butter mixture in here. That just makes it extra kind of greasy. So I love this recipe because it's just the sugar and the cinnamon, and there's nothing else kind of complicating the rest of the mixture. Really, all of the caramel mixture that's going to become the top of this is going to be so much more flavorful, and it's going to be wonderful. So we've been able to pat this sugar mixture into place. Just make sure to press down with your hands to adhere it. And then starting at this far edge, we're going to slowly roll it up. We're going to roll it up to that far edge and leave it a little loose. Do not make this a tight mixture because we want to leave a little bit of room for this to grow. Okay, so don't overly pack it. And as soon as we get over to this side, we'll be able to roll this up. And I'm just going to start pinching this edge to seal it closed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just roll this over onto its seam, and I'm going to make some markings with a knife, but we are not going to cut this with a knife.
What are you going to cut it with?
We are going to cut it with dental floss.
What?
Yes. So let me show you. So first we're gonna make some markings for 12 pieces. So first we're gonna make a mark in half, then we're gonna make another mark at the
making
quarters.
like small cuts.
I'm just making guide marks, and then to be able to split it into 12 pieces, I want to split these each into 3s. So I'm gonna look at thirds here and here, and then here and here, and here, 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 and here. And the reason that I'm not going to slice it with this knife is because it's a really, really soft dough. And if I happen to cut down on it with the knife, I'd end up closing off a lot of those rings around the piece. And this is going to be super easy to help us slice it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put it around where that cut side is. I'm going to overlap it. I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to pull it out. And look at that.
Huh.
Perfect.
Very
I'm just
clever.
going to put it right down into that mix, and I'm going to do that with all 12 of these pieces. And it's going to be super easy to get these really nice, clean cuts out of every single piece. Look at these. These look lovely. So if you were baking these same day, you just leave them out on the counter for an hour to an hour and a half until they are touching and they've completely filled the pan. But we're gonna do an overnight rise, and actually I prefer the overnight rise. It helps for the yeast to develop a whole different flavor profile, and it makes it taste really cool. So we're gonna pop on this lid, and we're gonna throw them into the refrigerator overnight. They can stay in the refrigerator for up to 14 hours, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Look at these. They've rested overnight, and they have proofed beautifully. They're now touching all the way around. I was able to get them out of the refrigerator about an hour and a half ago. They've sat out on the counter, so it's taken off some of the chill. The oven is already preheated to 375 degrees. I've positioned the racks in the oven at the lower part and the lower middle part of the oven. On the very lower rack, I have a sheet tray that is covered in aluminum foil just in case this caramel kind of bubbles up over the side. I don't want it to hit the bottom of my oven, so I'm just adding that in there for a little bit of insurance. But these are going to go in for about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to wrap the top a little bit in foil, just tinted very lightly, and let them go for another 10-15 minutes. And we'll see you in a little bit for how these babies are going to be finished. Oh,
Oh, wow, they got so fluffy.
yeah, they did. Look at that. Okay, we are ready to
Oh, they
go.
smell so good.
The entire place smells like cinnamon.
It's so
It's
yummy.
just a dream. So these baked up really lovely. We can't unmold them just yet. We're gonna need to wait about 5 minutes to make sure
Just
that
trying
they
to kill me.
Yeah. Well, we need to make sure that they set up. They're still cooking a little bit. We need them to just rest just slightly before we pull them out. I'm just gonna kind of run my offset spatula around the edge to make sure that nothing is sticking to the sides, and really they all look like they kind of pulled away. It's great. Okay, so we're just gonna take about 5 minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, 5 minutes has elapsed. I'm going to use some nonstick foil, and I'm going to kind of create a little bit of insurance for me, because this caramel is really super sticky, and it happens to be really super hot. And I want my platter to look nice, because we're trying to make this look as presentable as possible. So I'm going to put these pieces of foil, and then after I flip over the platter, I'll be able to pull them out.
That's just so you save all that goodness.
Exactly. We want to keep as much under there as possible. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use these because I just want. Okay, so I'm going to ever so gently. One,
Oh my
two,
gosh.
three.
Oh!
Yes.
Wow, all right. Expertly done.
Okay.
That was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking about me.
I'm going to ever so gently pull up. Oh, I can feel it releasing. Oh, thank goodness.
Whoa!
Holy mackerel! Look at
Oh my
that.
gosh, they look insane.
Oh. So these need to sit for another 5 minutes before you eat them, because good God, they will burn your frickin' face off.
Try to stop.
Yeah, right. But I'm gonna take all of the rest of this goodness that was left in the pan, and I'm gonna spoon it right over top.
Don't lose any.
No, because like, I mean, why are you gonna lose any of that goodness?
I mean, is 5 minutes really gonna cool them down?
5 minutes is going to prevent our faces from getting completely
Fine.
scorched.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see you back here in another couple minutes. Our patience has paid off. These are cool enough to handle. The top is just gorgeous. This is a presentation piece. Make this for your next brunch. We're gonna pull off this corner piece. I'm going to ever so gently. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, look at all the steam.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see
wow.
that. Look at that.
Holy
That's
crap.
beautiful.
Okay. Okay, let's slice into this thing and see it. It's so pillowy.
Oh. Oh my goodness, look at all those legs.
Oh, it's still really hot.
Well,
I mean,
just ridiculous.
they're kind of amazing.
Oh, alright.
They are just ridiculously fluffy. They are. So we've had some successes on this channel, but I mean, very rarely do we knock it completely out of the park. And we did with this one. Please, if you end up making these, share to our Facebook site. Let us know how you're doing. Share with us all of your successes, and we hope to see you on the next Potlucky video. Thanks, everybody.
I want one now.
You want one now?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have one.
Excellent.